Well, another day, another layoff story in the gaming industry. Go figure. So it feels like nowadays more and more we tend to hear much more bad news compared to good news when it comes to working in the gaming industry and all that. And today, no surprise, it's all bad news again. There really isn't any hint of good news here to unpack. It's mostly just the stuff that we're used to seeing when it comes to hearing about these layoff stories. And this time it's Xbox. It's Microsoft doing all of this again. One of the richest companies in the world, right? No, they're doing more layoffs, specifically in the Xbox division. So yeah, this is gonna be a bit of a different video because normally, if you've seen my previous videos, I do a lot of Nintendo related videos. I've done some general gaming videos, but I'm definitely more of like a Nintendo focused channel. But I still wanted to talk about this because it's still very personal to me, because I feel anyone who has been playing games for a certain amount of time, at least over the last decade or more, or 2 decades, whatever, what have you, you've probably played on an Xbox, right? You've probably experienced playing on an Xbox at least once. And if you haven't, that's also fine. I'm not here to judge any gaming tastes. We all have our preferred places to play. Some of us are on Xbox, some of us are on Nintendo, some of us are on PlayStation. It's fine to have your own gaming tastes, but I am willing to bet that many people that have played on more than one system has played an Xbox at least once in their life, even if that means playing on your friend's Xbox. So you know how absolutely crazy it is that we're now at this point where we're kind of questioning, doubting the future of this once insanely popular, loved, cherished gaming brand. Like, what on earth happened? Like what on earth happened? Like, it doesn't even feel that long ago that people were playing more on an Xbox than they were on a PlayStation. Again, this was during the 360 days, and we'll get to that, but now it's basically the complete opposite, right? But before we get to the sentimentals, I wanted to talk about what exactly the details are when it comes to the news today, which is, there's been significant layoffs in the gaming division of Microsoft. Again, that of course includes Xbox. And I'm looking at this article here on IGN, and I'm seeing numbers that are absolutely astounding. But apparently, the cuts amount to around 4% of the entire employee count. And while that doesn't sound like a big number on paper, percentage-wise, I mean, just take a look. Roughly 9,100 employees are going to lose their jobs. And again, the majority of them are, like a part of Xbox in some way, or just the general, like the larger Microsoft gaming division, right? And you have all these employees being laid off. And on top of that, these are employees from studios that are going to be shuttering because Microsoft said so. So to name a few examples, Everwild, the new upcoming game by Rare, it's been in development, and it's been canceled. Like, that's it. There's no more. It's been in development since 2014, and now it's just it's gone. It's done. It's been canceled. And now Rare's kind of like, probably fumbling, wondering what the hell they're gonna do next. But it really sucks. And another one that's a big one to me personally that I was really, really excited for, especially since the game itself, like the gameplay itself, looked really fantastic. It looked really, really cool from that gameplay demo. But it's Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark is also just straight up canceled, and the people making Perfect Dark, the company, is shutting down. Microsoft is shutting down the company responsible for that game. It's absolutely bonkers, because again, why? I'm kind of at a loss because I don't remember exactly if this was one of the studios that they purchased. I don't quite remember, but nonetheless, why bother buying a bunch of these studios, acquiring a bunch of studios, if you're going to be shuttering a bunch of them left and right like this, right? Like, what is the point of doing that? If anything, that is incredibly toxic to the gaming industry, because you're taking companies that would have otherwise made something great, probably if they had been able to have their own creative freedom, or maybe not be bought under a corporation like Microsoft, but maybe they have a partnership, not being straight up bought, but have a partnership with let's say somewhat like a company like Nintendo or yeah, Xbox or Sony, but not necessarily being bought straight up. Maybe they'd be able to make something truly amazing, but now we'll never be able to see that, and people have lost their jobs. So yeah, and it's just an absolute mess all over the place. And I mean, let's talk about Phil Spencer, right? I mean, at one point, I legit believed in the guy at one point. I legitimately thought that the guy had Xbox's best interest in mind, and maybe he does, and this is something that is just genuinely out of his control. I mean, the amount of power he has at Xbox, again, he's the CEO of the gaming division as a whole, right? So you would think that he would have enough power to avoid these kinds of things, or at the very least minimize the damage as much as possible. And maybe this is the best case scenario. I mean, maybe there's something we don't know about, as the general consumer, right? Maybe there are certain things within the company that are happening that we just don't know about, and these things are happening. And of course, we can only look from the outside and say, oh, this and that, we blame him, we blame that, and we just don't really know. But at the end of the day, what we see right now, at the very least, if we have to judge from what we're seeing right now and from what we're reading, this is not looking very good. This is looking very bad. And on top of that, Phil Spencer is going to be retiring soon, and he'll be turning 60, and he's going to be retiring soon. So again, it's gonna be going to Sarah Bond, I believe, the future duties. That's no pun intended, but like Call of Duty, but like, no, it's just so weird, because at one point people really were kind of cheering his name. Like he seems like a genuinely likable, down-to-earth dude, from all the interviews and from everything he's been saying about the Xbox brand throughout the years, especially earlier when he first started. Like, he always seemed like a genuine, down-to-earth dude. And so it's kind of a shock to see all of these things happening under his leadership. But again, we don't really know everything that's going on. I don't want to place the entire blame on him if I can help it. But maybe it is on him. Maybe it's not, right? We don't know for sure, and that's why I'm kind of hesitant to just say someone's name and say, oh, it's all your fault. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to jump the gun. I don't suggest anyone do that. But the fact of the matter is, he is the CEO. He is in charge of this division, and these layoffs are happening in this division that he's in charge of. So it's like, you put two and two together, and you're like, there's got to be some kind of correlation there, right? And it's such a mess. It's an absolute mess. Like, going back to the sentimentals from earlier, like, what on earth happened to Xbox? I remember, like, just years ago playing Halo Reach and just making memories playing that game, and there was a certain magic to it, like. The one thing I didn't like about the 360 at the time was it introduced the idea of paying to play online. I did not like the idea of Xbox Live. I liked the functionality, and it was, at the end of the day, it was worth paying for, because it was the best online experience out of the three companies, Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony, that were making, consoles. They 100% had the best online functionality, straight up, no denying it. But I did not like the fact that you had to pay for it, and they were the only company that you had to pay to play online. That's the one thing I didn't like. But still, you can't deny that functionality was just top tier. Like, and Microsoft was kind of the ones that pioneered, really, like, all the online playing aspects and elements that we know and love today, like voice chat and all of that. They pioneered that on gaming consoles, right, at the end of the day. And so they're to be thanked for that. What on earth happened to that Microsoft, to that version of Xbox? The ones that actually strive to have exclusives on their console, to have the partnerships, to have, oh, let's have this game released on our system first. I mean, technically they're doing that with Bethesda, but it's not really to that same, that same impact. It just doesn't have that same impact, especially considering they own Bethesda and they could do whatever they want. That kind of loses a bit of its luster, you could say, because it's like, it's not really a partnership. It's more like, oh, we own you, so of course you have to make games for us. Microsoft used to strive for a lot more, and so I never agreed with with their idea of having to buy all of these companies, you know, just so, oh, we can take control of them now. It's like, yeah, we're still going to release these games on PlayStation, but you know, we still control them. We could choose not to do that if we wanted to. I don't know. Again, you know, it has a lot to do with this idea of having Xbox be everywhere, and I get what they're trying to do. I really do. I am 100% an advocate for making games as accessible as humanly possible, making it so that as many people as possible can play games, similar to how movies are incredibly accessible, right? You could, you know, get a Netflix membership and watch a crazy amount of movies with that one membership, right? I'm an advocate for that, and I love the idea that Game Pass lets you do that, but for games. But there's something to be said about incentivizing your consumers and even non-Xbox fans to buy an Xbox console because the games are going to be there. Like, yes, you have the Xbox Series S that's a bit more accessible, but why buy that if you could just go out and buy a PlayStation or buy a Nintendo or buy whatever? Like, because again, odds are the games that are coming out for that are going to come out on the PlayStation, but PlayStation also has their exclusives, right? I mean, you could say PlayStation is changing up that too, and they're releasing exclusives more and more on PC, but it's not quite to the same extent, and you will still have those be exclusives for at least a certain period of time on the PlayStation console. Microsoft just isn't really doing that, right? So there's very little incentive to buy an Xbox console nowadays, aside from the fact that if you're just a non-lapsed Xbox fan, right? Or you can only afford one console and you can afford the Series S, then there is a market for it, but it's admittedly a very small market. So yeah, it's really difficult to pinpoint why on earth Microsoft has gone the route they went, and now it's led them to this. At the end of the day, there are some things I admire about what they're doing. Again, making gaming more accessible, more people can play them, they want to be everywhere. Like, I get all of that. I get it, I really do. And they're going to come out with a next-gen console. That's also part of this news too, is they're going to, like, Phil Spencer is going to stay on board until the next console comes out. So there's going to be another one, it's confirmed. But what will that entail? And will it be the last Xbox console, right? At the end of the day, it's like we're all kind of in this period of uncertainty with this brand. Like, what is going to happen here? So I don't know. But those are my brief thoughts on the matter. It's not looking too good overall, but I can only hope for the best, and I really genuinely hope that the people that are affected by this ordeal, I hope that they're able to find something better, a better job, and I hope that they're able to quickly change their fortunes, like improve their situation. So yeah, at the end of the day, thoughts are with them, to the people that are affected by this. And I hope things can get better, but again, too much uncertainty right now with this brand, and all we can hope for is that the next leadership may change course. They may not. They may continue down this route. We never know. But yeah, just at the end of the day, just hope for the best, I guess. So yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, guys, please consider giving it a like. Please consider subscribing. Helps a ton. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye bye.